What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So there's a lot of new changes that Democrats want amended. Some of these have to deal with the $1,400 stimulus check and local funding. Others have to deal with unemployment benefits and child tax credits. Right now, what we know is that the biggest news out today is that a group of senators, Senate Democrats, including Bernie Sanders himself, want the monthly stimulus check back in the bill. However, it is not for this stimulus package. It's for the next package, which some are calling a stimulus package, but it's essentially an infrastructure bill. It's President Biden's Build Back Better plan. Now, for about a month, Bernie Sanders has been fairly quiet in regards to the monthly stimulus check of $1,200 or $2,000. However, there's a group of progressives, especially in the House, that have been pushing for this and fighting. Right now, what it looks like is Bernie Sanders is back in favor of this plan, and that's really good news for some that could benefit from a $2,000 per month stimulus check. So do me a favor. If you could benefit not from a $2,000 monthly stimulus check, but a $1,200 stimulus check, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button. Now, what we are hearing is that Bernie Sanders and a group of 9 other Senate Democrats end up sending a letter to President Biden today. I addressed this earlier this morning and also earlier this afternoon. But what we know right now is that President Biden is not really worried about his Build Back Better plan simply because he's having so many issues with this current $1.9 trillion stimulus package. However, at this point, this is just a letter that Bernie Sanders and many other Senate Democrats sent to President Biden. But they did not specify an amount for the monthly stimulus check. They didn't go into specifics as to who would even receive this money. What I can tell you, though, is it will most likely go to the lowest income earners based off of your 2020 adjusted gross income. So if you don't file your 2020 taxes, then you probably would not see a stimulus check on a monthly basis. Now, when could we see this? Well, here's the issue. It's not going to happen quickly. This is not going to happen fast, and this is going to go up for a debate. What we do know is this will most likely be go along with the infrastructure bill that will be roughly $3 trillion. What I can tell you is the chances of this happening are not high. Right now, with more Senate Democrats jumping on board, yes, it does look more likely. However, there's probably a chance of roughly 15% that this even gets passed. Right now, my best guess is we're not going to see a monthly stimulus check. We would most likely see a one-time payment. This would be amended. It will most likely be a one-time payment that is accepted. And if this happens, yes, we could potentially get a total of 4 stimulus checks, which would be great. But the problem is, who knows when this is coming? Some expect the infrastructure bill won't pass until May, possibly June or July. But again, we'll just have to wait and see. Now, I wanted to bring this up to you because this is going to get a lot of senators talking. And now, do I think a monthly stimulus check is going to happen? I don't. Okay, I honestly don't. I think it has a 15% chance, maybe a little bit less. I'm putting at 15, and that's being fairly optimistic. But the reason why I wanted to talk about the monthly stimulus checks is for this one reason. If this starts to get more centrist Democrats talking, what's going to happen is they are actually going to back off a little bit of this $1.9 trillion stimulus package. And this is according to experts as well. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy on YouTube reporting all the updates that we currently hear. But what we know is if centrist Democrats believe that they will have to worry about a possible monthly stimulus check or an additional stimulus check in the future in President Biden's Build Back Better plan, they may, take up that information now and plan for the future, which means we could see them back off of their stance of let's increase the income limitations for individuals and couples to receive a stimulus check. They could say, you know what, I can't do that. It means we pretty much have to plan for another stimulus check, so we're going to provide even less stimulus in this round. And so that's something we could hear. And right now, I've been telling you this for a few days. I don't see them really moving or adjusting the numbers for the $1,400 stimulus check. I think it's going to stay at $1,400. It's going to go to individuals with an income of $70,000 or less, and then cut off at $100,000, couples at $150,000, with the drop dead cut off at $200,000. That's where I think things are going to stand, but we could see changes based off this new information. So again, it's not great, but this is currently what we are hearing. What I can tell you right now, the biggest problem is not what Bernie Sanders is saying or even doing. It's not what President Biden is talking about. It's not what Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer is doing. It's actually Joe Manchin, Senate Democrat Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin wants to see unemployment, the weekly boost, drop from $400 per week down to $300. He says that we've been doing that for some time, and that is what everybody is used to. There's no point to change it now, which is true. And there's some experts that say increasing from $300 up to $400 and doing that now and then letting that run all the way until September. The problem is people on unemployment are going to be used to that boost, and then as soon as it expires and is done, then they'll be like, where's the next boost? Where's the rest of our money? So it actually makes more sense, according to experts, instead of going $400 per week, go to $300 and extend it for another month, possibly 2 months. Some are saying don't just extend it from August to September, actually go for the full year. And so hopefully then people will be back on their feet. I don't know if that's a guaranteed thing, but it could happen. We'll see. We also know that Joe Manchin is opposed to spending $350 billion for state and local government funding. He also doesn't like the current stimulus check income eligibility and wants that dropped as well. And right now, all the Democrats' issues seem to be coming from one man. And a lot of people have said, he's not going to be reelected. He is not going to have any power in politics anymore. He's not going to be in politics at all because of all these changes that he's making. And you're probably thinking, well, who is this guy, right? How much money does he have? He must have a lot of money because he doesn't want to give it to the American people. Well, here's what we know. Joe Manchin is fairly wealthy. He has a decent amount of money. He has a good nest egg. His daughter, I don't know if you know this, but his daughter, her name is Heather Bresch or Bresch. I don't know how you really say her name. But according to reports, she has a net worth of roughly $30 million. So she's not really in need of, Joe Manchin or her dad's, kind of inheritance. She doesn't need it. She was a CEO of a fairly good company. So right now, Joe Manchin holds a lot of power, and really, he's not looking at this as, okay, I need the extra $174,000 per year to be able to survive, because honestly, I don't think he's worried about that, and I don't think any senator right now is worried about how much money they make. I know a lot of people are like, well, these people, if they were able to spend just a day in our shoes, and honestly, they couldn't spend a day in a normal person's shoes. On an average Joe, that just wouldn't happen, okay? These people are probably used to, having steak and lobster every day for dinner, not eating top ramen, or hopefully having, some, chicken broth, because that's the cheapest thing that they can make. So we'll see. What I can tell you is that Bernie Sanders said that the Senate will hold a roll call vote sometime this week, most likely later on this week, just to see which senators are voting in favor of which pieces of legislation. One of the reasons why they do this and is just because they want to see who they can pinpoint. Okay, that person does not support, the stimulus checks. All right, we got to go talk to him. Or, oh, she is not going to support the state and local government funding. All right, we need to send a committee, go talk to her. And so that's what's going to happen. Now, whether or not we see, these groups or the Senate whips go in and try to get their caucus on board, right now, who knows what's going to happen. But what I can tell you is it's going to be a bumpy ride. We will see the fights. We will see them bicker. We will see them debate and possibly vote, hopefully before the March 14th deadline. That's what we know. But as of right now, all eyes seem to be on Joe Manchin. But we could see others step up as well and object to some of the main pieces of legislation within the stimulus package. And let me answer the question about standalone bills, because I know we're going to get that, because I get this all the time, and I try to address some of the questions. But why do we never see Democrats say, all right, well, if we can't get support on the, let's say the $350 billion for state and local government funding, why don't we just put that aside and let's just go and pass the $1,400 stimulus checks, because everybody's on board there. Here's the reason why this doesn't work. There's actually multiple reasons. The first is because if we do standalone bills, whether it doesn't matter if it's Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter. If the party does a standalone bill, the issue is every single bill that they do would have to have a budget reconciliation tied to it. And because of that, they only have 3 for the calendar year of 2021. They have 3 every year for the next 3 years. Okay, or actually the next 2 years, because technically they have 2020, 2021, and 2022. So they have 9, 3 per year. What we know is that it's going to cost them 1 budget reconciliation bill per time they do a standalone bill. So they can only do 3. They don't want to use them in the first few months of the year. So that's the first issue. The next issue, why they will not do a standalone bill, because if, let's say, Joe Manchin agrees to, okay, I'm going to support the $1,400 stimulus checks as they stand right now. Great. So he goes and supports that. And then Democrats are like, okay, you supported that. Now we're not going to give you what you wanted over here. We're not going to take away that we're not going to go from $400 per week in unemployment back to $300. We're just not going to do that. So now he's stuck with, well, I just passed this because you guys said you would give me this. And then Democrats are like, no, we can't do that because we told our constituents we gotta fulfill this promise, or else they're gonna vote us out in 2022. Joe Manchin might not care, but Democrats are probably like, all right, that's the reason why we can't do a standalone bill. It's the same reason why Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer didn't want to do a standalone bill when former President Donald Trump was still in office and Mitch McConnell was the Senate Majority Leader, because they knew if they did a standalone bill on certain provisions, Mitch McConnell would be like, okay, thanks, but we're not going to listen to any of the stuff that you have to say. We're just going to brush that off to the side. You can pass a bill in the House, great. It's going to sit on my desk in the Senate. They're never going to take it to the floor. So that's why standalone bills at this point don't work, is because somebody has too much power. It only works if there's even power, and right now, that's not the case. So we'll see what happens there. But today, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer did say the Senate will have the votes. However, right now, many lawmakers don't expect a watered-down stimulus package to pass through the House again. This is big. This is really big because some say they're actually more worried about what the House will do if they receive a bill that has the majority of progressive priorities removed from it. For example, the $15 minimum wage, progressives are already fuming over that. If they lose an additional $100 in unemployment benefits per week, they will be very upset there. If they don't get the $350 billion for state and local government funding, they're going to be very upset there. And if the $1,400 stimulus checks are more targeted, they're going to be extremely upset there. If you take away those 4 priorities just from the progressives, I doubt they're going to vote in favor of passing this roughly $1.9 trillion bill right now. So this could be a big issue. But what I can tell you is that they are slowly working towards an agreement. Whether or not we meet the March 14th deadline, that's currently unknown. My guess is we're going to go right up to the 11th hour, and chances are we could blow right through it. I don't know for sure, but as of right now, I'm not feeling extremely optimistic that this gets passed in the next week and a half. Many believe that the more legislation that we hear about getting put into the upcoming infrastructure bill actually means it's not good. This would actually make this package worse. And some are saying that if this happens, the chances of getting this passed through the House with this large group of progressives is most likely not going to happen. So as I know more, I promise I'll share more, but currently this is what we know. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on, and I'll see you guys on the next one.